Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jayson.
And we are father.
And son.
And today's list was a Jayson idea. And what are we going to do today, man?
We are going to do our top 7 Halloween movies. It doesn't have to be scary movies, just Halloween movies that we'd like to see this Halloween.
7 movies that this year we would consider watching on Halloween.
Yeah.
So these are not necessarily our 7 favorite movies that have anything to do with Halloween, the franchise or the holiday or otherwise. And these are not necessarily our favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
But many of them, or some of them, might wind up in that category,
yeah.
Of course. So these are kind of, I'm thinking of this as sort of like those old, I've been watching a lot of Siskel and Ebert lately, and Siskel and Ebert would do a lot of, like, recommendation shows, where they'd be like, here is a movie that's on VHS right now that I think you should take a look at, and so these will be kind of like recommends, I would think, and a lot of these will be things that you guys are familiar with, of course, but maybe some of these will be suggestions that you might not have thought to watch on Halloween, and we'll just tell you what sounds like fun to us to watch maybe on the day. So is this like for the whole season, or for on Halloween day, here's a movie I might consider watching?
Yeah. More like, more like just like October movies.
Yeah. I kind of wrote mine as things that I would that would actually be serious contenders for Halloween night, and it'll be fun to see if anybody argues with us, where it's like, nah, that's not that's not scary enough, or that's not moody enough, or whatever for the actual holiday. And Jayson, why are we doing 7?
Cause at the time that I made this list which was 10 minutes ago.
Well, you started like a week ago.
Yeah, I started it a week ago at 5, and then I was like, okay, I can do 2 more, because you couldn't really narrow it down to 5, and then I was like, and then like just now I came up with like 3 more, and I'm like, oh.
See, I thought you could have done 10. If you want to go ahead and bump it to 10, I can add 3 more. I've got a big list of runners up.
Maybe we can just do some runners up that we think of, and
okay, sure, we'll do that. Well, let's go ahead and just read down the 7 we each wrote,
okay.
And then we can do some runners up after that. And I'll let you have the floor first, like we did last time, because once again, this was your suggestion.
Are yours like in order? Like actual, like a top 7?
Yeah, I did it as a top 7.
Okay.
It's pretty arbitrary.
Because I did it more like, okay, this is the one that I would least want to watch.
Yeah, I did that.
The one that I would most want to
No, I'm
watch.
sorry. That is the way I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And folks, let us know in the comments as we go what movies you would be most excited to watch on Halloween, and we'll read some of those down as well. We should also mention real quick that, a quick caveat, neither of us are horror guys, which is part of why, and of course I've seen a lot more horror than Jayson has,
yeah.
And folks have requested a lot of horror on the channel, so I've seen a fair bit now, but it's still not my thing. So even all the 7 that I wrote down, they're not all horror movies. I insisted on not doing it that way, where it's just horror.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick some things that also I felt like kind of fit the spirit of the holiday.
I will say a couple of mine are horror.
Yeah.
Or horror-esque.
I think I could guess which ones they are.
Horror-esque.
And I'll also say that I knew you picked this with the limitation of just how many things you've seen that can fit in this category, because Jayson's 12, and there's a lot of things that I haven't let him see yet, and things that we just haven't gotten around to sitting down and watching yet. So the reason that he had a hard time going to 10 in the first place is because he didn't know if he had even seen enough movies of this ilk. So I intentionally, Jayson, tried to pick things that I didn't think would be on your list. So a couple things that I know are on your list are things I would have written down, but I avoided them. So
because you knew that I would put them on the list.
Yeah, this being less of a top 7 or top 10 list and more of a almost recommendations kind of thing. I wanted to try to avoid overlap this time.
Yeah.
If at all possible. Yeah. So I guess there could be something, but I don't think there will. In fact, have you seen any of the movies on my list? I think I even picked things I know you haven't seen. You've seen one of these movies. 2 of the... Yeah, you've seen part of one of these movies. Okay, Jayson, why don't you go ahead and start with your number 7?
I know what's on there, then. Wow, that's a good choice. Oh man, I just thought of a movie that that should have gone on my list.
And the one I think you're thinking of is one I thought would be on your list. But here, I'll write it down.
Oh no, I just thought of something.
See, I knew you could have done more than you thought you could.
I forgot what it was called though.
I've got it. I think I know exactly what it is. Okay, Jason, would you go ahead and tell us your first one?
Yeah. So my number 7 is the Terminator.
Sure.
Terminator 1. Now I put this over Terminator 2 because I don't really think of that as a movie I'd like to see on Halloween. I would like to see that anytime else but Halloween because I would rather see the first one.
Yeah.
On Halloween.
But Terminator 2 is one of your favorite movies, right?
Yeah.
One, of course, is a lot more of a consummate horror film.
Yeah. And it's just kind of silly. Still, even though it's more of a horror movie than 2, it's just kind of silly. Him just knocking on random people's doors named Sarah and...
Oh, no, it's great. He goes out a phone book and systematically he's a machine.
Yeah, and antagonist is great. And I have only seen it once, a few years ago, but
was
I would like to see
anything about that movie scary to you?
Oh yeah, that last scene, or not the exact last scene, but like the last scene, like when, like most of his limbs are torn off and like his torso is still intact and is like walking around on his like arms or whatever. Like that part kind of freaked me out.
Yeah. But the prosthetics and the effects there are amazing.
Yeah.
For 1984. No, that's a wonderful choice. And that is a poignant pick for you because of your Halloween costume this year.
Yeah, I am being Terminator for Halloween. So...
Maybe I'll post a picture of that on Facebook, or Facebook and YouTube when we finish here. So I'm trying to decide if I want to actually go down my 7 or if I want to try to pick a counterpart for each of yours. You went with a... I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if I have something close to a counterpart for each of yours on my list.
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna do mine out of the order that I was going, because like I said, this was somewhat arbitrary, honestly. I'd be okay watching any of these on Halloween. So you picked the Terminator.
Yep.
And that came out, by the way, the year I was born, 1984. What I'm about to mention is a movie that came out later than that, but this is also a science fiction movie that is broody and falls into not exactly the horror category, but there are certainly horror elements to it, and it's definitely a thriller.
Like the Terminator.
My pick, and this might seem unlikely to some people, I considered for this kind of category Alien, but I went with Dark City.
Oh, that is... Wow.
If you're waxing somewhat cerebral on Halloween, I think Dark City is a good choice.
That is a good choice.
Yeah. And I also decided not to put Flatlanders on my list because I talk about Flatlanders all the time, and that's a kind of an old tradition for me for a movie to watch on Halloween that I used to do with my mom. So one of the reasons I put Dark City here was so that I had a Kiefer Sutherland movie.
Yeah.
On my list. Sorry, what is that?
Oh. I saw that movie before I watched 24.
Yeah.
So I need to see that movie again, because now that is Kiefer Sutherland.
He plays a mad scientist doing a really weird German accent, and it's great. But he's still, because he's Kiefer Sutherland, has to have a scene where he's holding a gun on somebody and yelling at them.
Yeah.
Because that happens there. But that's a wonderfully, broody, atmospheric movie that's all about the nature of humanity, and it's about a alien race that creates kind of a noirish sort of world to study humanity and try to figure out what makes us human, so that it can take that whatever that element is and try to keep itself alive because it is dying. And those aliens as creatures are kind of creepy, and it's more of a noirish thing, like I said, than it is a horror thing. But it's got its kind of creepy, weird moments, and I think it's the right mood for that holiday.
Yeah.
And also, I just got the director's cut and didn't even realize there was a director's cut, and I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
So I would watch that on Halloween as an excuse to see that director's cut.
Did you read a synopsis for all of your movies? Because I did.
No, I did not.
Because some of the plots I kind of kind of forgot.
But we're not doing reviews, so
yeah.
just real quick reasons for why you chose them is good enough. Nicholas Bodo says, would also recommend The Lighthouse, but might not be Cap's thing. I have seen The Lighthouse, and I actually have...
Didn't you do a request on that?
No, not yet. I have a requested rewind for that, which is going to be a really weird thing to try to do in that format. But I enjoyed that movie all the way, well, I was going to say all the way to the end. I remember not really caring for the ending and overall thinking it didn't really add up to much. And I know a lot of people love that movie. I like it for... It would be a good Halloween movie. I mean, I like it for the atmosphere of it, certainly, and performances, and production value, and creature effects and stuff, but...
Oh, no. I just thought of another movie that would be on that list.
I tell you what, I'm going to hand you a pen.
Oh.
Here you go. Here's a pen for you, and then we'll have a lot of fun with runner-ups. Or runners-up. I can never decide how to say that.
I always say runner-ups, but...
I think runners-up is the correct way to say that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what that movie is
called.
There are a couple of movies that I just don't remember what they're called.
Oh, you just can't... Okay. Well, we could talk it out for a second.
Basically, the first horror movie I saw.
The first horror movie you saw was Poltergeist.
Well, first like actual horror movie I saw.
Oh, I don't know.
Before Evil Dead 2.
Oh, well, the thing I'm thinking of, you didn't see all of. You quit, so it's not that. It's not Night of the Living Dead.
No, it's
What's the premise?
It's the
Tell me what happens in it.
Oh,
Misery.
Yeah, Misery.
Yeah,
that would be on my list.
I left Misery off my list intentionally.
That would be on my list. That would probably be like over Terminator, over my number 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said it then anyway. No,
yeah.
that's my favorite horror movie of all time.
Is that the one that you thought I was thinking of?
Nope.
The first time?
Nope, it's different. But I did write it down. Okay, what would be your number 6, Jason?
My number 6 is Halloween.
Yeah.
Very fitting, because,
Because it's Halloween. It's the only Halloween movie that's really great.
Yeah, the only one that I saw. It's very 70s. It's very oldish.
Oldish?
There's another movie on here that's even, older than that. That's one of my favorite Halloween movies, but it does not seem like that. It does, you can tell that it is old, but with Halloween, I feel like you can really tell that it's like 70s.
In a good way or
in a good
like
way.
is it too dated?
No. It's just very I like that kind of horror. It's like more like not dated, but like more older,
Just because you can tell the time period that it was shot in, or
yeah.
Is it about fashions and technology and
yeah?
What do you like about Halloween?
Halloween is cool because it's like kind of. It's like it was really weird because it's like kind of boring in a good way, where it's like it's really fun, but it's also like it's not boring. But it is at the same time.
Constantly building suspense?
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah. And, yeah, I saw that movie last year.
I was going to say, I can't remember exactly when you saw that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it either a year or two ago.
I'm going to keep doing this. Did you find that legitimately scary?
No. No, I didn't.
I remember you not seeming to be particularly freaked out by it.
No.
But you seem to be...
It's just a cool movie. Like
enjoying it, yeah.
I don't know if I would watch it more than a few times, but...
that's fair. I mean, I can see why you'd say that. Obviously, big horror buffs and slasher buffs would boo you for that, but if it's not your sensibilities in the first place, that is one of those movies that might feel like once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. Okay, I guess now I have to go for a slasher.
Yeah, you do.
And so I'll go for what my number 1 was going to be, which is Psycho. And I've talked about Psycho at length. Of course, Alfred Hitchcock, 1960. That movie is... We did a request on a few months ago. Austin and I, and who else joined us for that? I think, DJ was there. DJ and I have talked a lot about Psycho because we were big fans of Bates Motel, and the first thing DJ reviewed with me was Bates Motel. But anyway,
This is the one that you were talking about that I saw part of.
yes.
Oh, it's not that other horror movie.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was that other one.
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Night of the Living Dead, you quit watching because you thought it was too scary.
Yeah, like 15 minutes in.
I tried to show you that,
Was
and we were looking at the remake. If it was the original black and white, which is probably what I should have shown you,
Yeah.
you might not have had that.
Yeah.
We'll do it now. You can handle it now.
Yeah. The remake or the...
Maybe both, but especially the original, I don't think you'd have any trouble with.
Yeah.
I think you could possibly even get through Dawn of the Dead at this point, which is wonderful. And did I put that on my list? I kicked it around. I did not, but there are several recent movies that we did on request that I considered for this. But anyway, Psycho is of course a classic. It's wonderfully shot. It's wonderfully acted. I think you actually fell asleep watching it just because we watched it late. And
yeah.
I don't know if you were bored, but
No, I wasn't. I mean, maybe a little bit.
yeah.
I don't remember anything about that movie. I just remember it had something to do with a motel.
I love that. Also has a wonderful building suspense, and it's one of those movies where even though you know what the twist is once you've seen it or once somebody's told you about it, it doesn't get old. Like, to me, it doesn't have what you were saying with Halloween. Like, I don't get tired of watching Psycho. Some of it is also it's hard not to just keep using this word. It's the word of the day, atmosphere or ambiance. But like the production values, just the look of that house, the kind of feeling of isolation, what it would be like if you were actually at that hotel with this really strange person, not knowing what he's all about, and things aren't adding up. He's got this mother, or seems to, who keeps giving him crap for being with the protagonist, and like he's being promiscuous or something, but he's just trying to do his job and be nice and bring her sandwiches and stuff. But yeah, it's wonderfully disturbing. I at this point, I don't think it's my favorite Hitchcock movie though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna hesitate saying that because it could be on your list. But
Maybe.
let's go ahead and go to number 5.
My number 5 is Ghostbusters.
Of course, Ghostbusters is on your list.
Yeah, this is the one that I've seen the most. I don't know. You've probably talked about this a lot on the channel, but
well, I think we even reviewed it.
Yeah, we did actually
on our show once. But just give us a couple of reasons for why you would want to watch that this Halloween, Jason.
It's just very comedic, and it's one of those comedic Halloween movies.
Yep.
Because I haven't.
So yes, it is.
I can't think of.
So yes, it is a comedy. So you just want to watch it because it's funny.
Yeah, and also, someone brought up a good point. There was a comment earlier saying that Halloween or Ghostbusters is one of the more like daytime movies for Halloween, and then you watch more of the scary stuff at night.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I've seen Ghostbusters at Halloween parties probably 3 or 4 times. That seems to be the go-to. That
yeah.
If you're looking for consensus at a Halloween party, that tends to be one of the movies that everybody can agree on.
Mm.
But of course, the great thing about Ghostbusters is the blend of comedy and, I guess, horror. Like, there's not anything that's actually super scary in it, but it's, especially once you've watched a lot of movies for several decades and you get to now and you get real desensitized. But especially back then, there are some things in it that are legitimately kind of creepy and unnerving, and that play it real straight.
Yeah. It is, like, scary for, like, maybe even, especially, like, little kids. Like, it might be more creepy to them, but, not as, And also, it's really weird. Like, last time I saw it, it didn't, because I hadn't seen it in a couple years. that time, and I was like, what is happening?
What do you think is the weirdest thing in Ghostbusters? Is it just the terror dogs, or
the opening scene?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you might have said the montage with the risque thing that is not at all kid friendly. I thought maybe that's what you were thinking of. But anyway.
And then it has a weird sequel, and then all the other movies in the franchise are terrible.
The other two.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the sequel
And
to Afterlife will be better than Afterlife.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope
And
for
in
that.
2, they play Super Mario Brothers. So.
Okay, so now I have to go to a... Did you have anything else you want to say about Ghostbusters?
No.
Who is your favorite Ghostbuster?
Probably Egon.
Mine has always been Zedmore.
Yeah, he's great too.
I love Winston. And I think that was even more solidified for me with the comics, because those books do quite a bit of good extra characterization for him, and bring back the military background that I think he was supposed to have in the original first draft of that movie. And yeah, you know, the thing, real quick, the Ghostbusters thing that does, I think, the best at actually bringing in more of the unnerving horror stuff is the video game.
Oh.
And the new one is either out or about to come out, but they finally done basically a straight up sequel to that, and I'm hearing good things, but I need to get my hands on that. Freddie has been, we haven't gone back to it, but we were doing a playthrough for that on the channel, and Jason's brother Freddie, he's 7, he loves Ghostbusters and loves video games, wanted to play through that with me, and he keeps saying he's going to play through it exactly once because it's too scary for him, and he wants to see what happens, but things keep happening that are freaking him out in it, which is great. That would also be, not that we'll do it this year, but that would also be a fun list to do at some point. The video games that you'd most like to play on Halloween.
Whoa. What? What's that?
Happy Death Day is wonderful, and I've never seen the sequel because I heard not great things, and I didn't want to ruin the wonderfulness that is Happy Death Day. I've seen it one time in the theater, admittedly. I need to get a copy of it. I need to watch it again. Happy Death Day is the slasher version of Groundhog's Day. So it's this sorority girl, and you look at the previews for that movie, and it looks maybe fun, but also maybe like that character would be way too irritating to watch for a whole movie. And she's surprisingly endearing and likable and pretty well drawn. And I was surprised by how good the writing was.
Is she like the next Karate Kid?
No, I liked her from the beginning of this movie.
Oh,
well enough, but you start to like her more and more as she's being chased by the killer. But the idea is she keeps dying over and over and over again by the slasher, and then wakes up the next day and it goes all over again.
That's amazing.
Like Groundhog's Day, and the slasher villain has this big creepy baby mask.
What?
That's kind of iconic now. Like it definitely had a look all its own. It's really an iconic kind of killer mask. But that movie was, and I think it was maybe, if memory serves, written by the comic writer Scott Lobdell. Am I remembering that right? It's written by a comic writer. And I remember the writing being really crisp and clever. A lot of really good banter in that movie. But yeah, I haven't seen that since the theater, and I really want to watch it again, so I put that on my list. So yeah, I had a horror comedy for you there, Jason.
Another runners-up that I have.
I thought we were going to do that later.
Well.
Or is it related? So you want to do it now?
It's really not.
Do you have it written down?
No.
Oh, well then go ahead and mention it so you don't forget it.
Well, I forgot what it was called.
Oh, well then let's talk it out again like we did before.
I watched it this year, and it's that superhero movie.
Chronicle.
I
considered putting Chronicle on my list. Because that certainly has some bootiness and some he's writing something else down here. Apparently this is a work in progress.
Okay.
Real quick, David there in the comments wants to know if we watched Lightyear yet. I did. I've reviewed it. Jason has not. And you really shouldn't, because it's not very good.
Oh.
That's my review. All right, Jason, what are we at? 4?
4.
Go ahead.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. This is the craziest movie ever. Because just all this random stuff just happens.
Yeah.
Just randomly. Well, not randomly, but I don't know. I already said random, so that's why it randomly came out, but it didn't. It just randomly came out.
Well, can I spoil something for Poltergeist real quick? Because I'm sure most people have seen Poltergeist.
Yeah.
It's not random, though. You know why? Because they moved the gravestones, but they didn't move the bodies.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen Poltergeist now?
I've seen Poltergeist 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times.
I want to say that is nearly a tradition for us, but we don't watch it every Halloween.
No, we don't.
But we watched it a year or 2 ago with the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. What do you like about Poltergeist, Jason?
Poltergeist, it has, I like it because it just, like, one thing happens after another.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, you have a girl being sucked up by a TV. And then you got trees moving around. And then you got clown in a closet. And then you got just one thing after another. And then you got the light. And then you got don't go into the light. And then you got go into the light. And then you got don't go into the light. And then you got go into the light.
That is the best synopsis I've ever heard of Poltergeist. That's spectacular. But you forgot the bodies and skeletons dropping on people in the mud.
Yes,
at the end.
and that happens as well. And
that part's
and
wonderful.
Counting, and thunder getting closer and closer to your house.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
And the thunder and the lightning. What do you think is the scariest thing in Poltergeist?
Probably the clown in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a clown thing? Are you
No,
one of
I
those
don't.
people that just finds clowns scary?
No, I don't. It's just that like random stuff just caught. Like everything goes like I don't remember exactly. Like there's like it becomes like a big pigsty in his room.
Yeah. Things aren't actually coming alive, but they're being manipulated by
Yeah.
the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did you? I'm gonna ask you this again. Did you find that movie legitimately scary the first time you saw it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I did. You didn't ask me that with Ghostbusters.
Did you find Ghostbusters?
No.
Legit.
I don't
think
know.
so.
I saw it when I was like 3.
That's why I didn't ask you that. Well, Freddie did a little bit.
Yeah. I also don't remember the first time he saw that movie either. I remember he loved that movie the first time he saw it.
Yep.
He was like a big fan of Ghostbusters.
Well, Mikey too. And yeah, Jason's youngest brother, Mikey, who's 4 now, is really into horror iconography. He loves skeletons and jack-o'-lanterns and ghosts and all that kind of stuff. I'm playing a game with him right now on PS4 called Medieval, which is a remastered game. I think a remake rebuilt from the ground up from the PS1 era. That's a 3D platformer that is really like just Halloween the holiday, the video game, and it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's really imaginative. We fought one of the first, if not the first, big boss is a stained glass window that comes to life and becomes a monster, and it's one of the neatest things I've seen in a video game. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so now I need a ghost movie.
Yeah.
I don't have a ghost movie.
Oh.
I'm sorry to say. Do I have a ghost movie on my runners up? Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna check real quick. I don't think I actually have a. Is there another way I can correlate this? Do I have a PG-13 horror movie on my list? Because that's Poltergeist. I would have to go back and check, but I think Cabin in the Woods may have been PG-13, and that is on my list. Cabin in the Woods.
Captain Logan in the Woods?
No, Cabin.
Oh, Captain Logan in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, I'm not going to talk too much about because I've done a rewind on it, but I love that movie. Some people don't. I give it a 4. I think it's really, really well executed, but it is a send-up to slasher movies and just the standard cabin in a forest somewhere and scary things happen scenario. I could fit this with any of the things on your list probably, Jason, because every major horror trope shows up in it. So the premise of that movie, and I'm spoiling stuff a little bit if you've not seen it, because at first it looks like it's just a standard, some kids get together and go in a cabin, and then scary stuff ensues. But the whole idea is that that the cabin is this kind of, I want to say experiment, but it's this way that this organization makes sure to keep the world from ending. So there's all these different scenarios that are built into the cabin, and depending on what like artifacts or characters the kids that go into the cabin talk to, a different scenario will ensue, and then they'll end up ultimately becoming a sacrifice for a monster that if there's not a ritual sacrifice to, the world will end, is kind of the idea. And so through that, it does a lot of parody and, like I said, send up of every horror trope you can think of. And so there is a scary clown in it, and there are ghosts and slasher villains, and it was a Joss Whedon thing, and it's at this point one of my favorite Joss Whedon things. I like it quite a bit.
So he's to blame for that?
Yes, he is.
My number 3.
Oh, are we already to 3?
Yeah, we're to 3.
All right, go ahead.
So you know what my number 3 is gonna be, right?
I do not.
Do you have an idea?
I mean, you've got 3 more things on your list, so specifically 3?
Yes. 3.
I'm gonna say Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another horror comedy. I don't have 2 of those.
Do you have a Halloween movie with an actor that also plays Batman in it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then you can do that.
I can do that.
You can do that then.
Great effing model.
Why? He doesn't even say that.
No, it's sort of a model. It's like I was just reaching for anything that's a model.
Oh.
It's like a model because I wanted to say that.
Oh,
Anyway,
I thought Shredder was saying that.
Oh,
Great
no.
effing model. Oh.
No, because Super Shredder talks like this. Anyway. That joke didn't work. I didn't have a model nearby, so I couldn't do it. Jason, what do you like about Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice.
Oh, no! I've seen this movie, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times now. It is one of my favorite Halloween movies, and it is legitimately scary. It did scare me when I first watched it.
Yeah? What images in particular?
The wedding clothes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that scene.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything in the ending? Well, I guess that, but like anything else, like the giant worm. Sorry, for a second I forgot where that was. That's at the end, right?
Yeah, and
anything with like the giant worm.
A little bit, but and I actually played the Beetlejuice World and Lego Dimensions before I actually watched the movie.
Oh, really?
So I kind of had the sandworms spoiled for me.
Oh, okay.
That was like the one thing I knew about that movie going in. And that was like 6 years ago now. But yeah, then Beetlejuice stuff just started popping up everywhere after I watched it.
Yeah.
Another thing that scared me was
particularly at Halloween stores.
Yeah. But also just We went to the mall and I saw Beetlejuice stuff like 5 times.
There's
I
been
was
a
like,
big
what?
resurgence for old, popular Halloween things, movies. That and Nightmare and Hocus Pocus are the three big ones that you see stuff everywhere for. And that just got a sequel. But I hate that movie, so I'll never see the sequel.
Oh,
But,
really?
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, and everyone keeps telling me to see it. So
You can watch that one on your own. I won't watch that again. But anyway.
why don't you like it?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I always,
okay.
as a kid, I saw it 2 or 3 times, and I've always disliked that movie. I thought the writing was terrible. I thought the production values were really bad. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I digress. Talk about Poltergeist. Talk about Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. I already talked about Poltergeist.
Right.
Yeah. Beetlejuice is a comedy, so it's very comedic, very funny. I actually did see this Halloween, so I don't have to see it again. No, that's not a good thing. I do like that.
You would watch it again.
I would watch it again.
What's your favorite scene in that movie?
My favorite scene in that movie is wow. Probably the scene in the office.
Yeah.
Probably, but I'm not exactly sure. I also, another thing that I like about that movie is that it's it almost has not like Beetlejuice is not the main character, but like his name's in the title, so but it doesn't have much to do with him. Like it does, but it's still it's called Beetlejuice, and then you'd think that he's like the main character and he's there all the time, and then he's not.
You kind of spend the whole movie wondering what his role is really going to be. Like, is he going to be the main antagonist? Is he ultimately going to help the couple figure out how to transition into the afterlife, or get back their lives somehow? Get the new people out of the house, and by the end, it's a bit of both. Mikey, again, Jason's 4-year-old brother, just watched Beetlejuice a few weeks ago and loves it, and started watching the cartoon show and is really into that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess my companion piece for that, just because of the Batman connection, is Batman: The Long Halloween, Part 1 and 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you have a lot more superhero movies than I thought.
Well, again, it's weird that I ended up with more superhero stuff because I was avoiding some of the main classic stuff I would usually bring up, just because some of it's stuff that I've talked about too much. And I mean, yeah, I've done Poltergeist. I've done Psycho before, but I was trying to also avoid things that you would say. But anyway, Psycho I couldn't help but put on the list, and that legitimately is a movie I kind of want to watch this year, maybe.
Yeah, I do too.
I was actually between 2 Batman movies. I thought about The Batman as a Halloween movie. I think it's watchable on that day. But The Long Halloween seemed like an obvious thing that maybe I could put. That was my number 7 if I was doing these in order. But that turned out better than I expected it to. And part of the reason I wanted to recommend that right now is because how do I even put it? The release with both movies combined back together to make one film just came out, which I was hoping would happen, and I bought the 2 individual movies. I don't know if I'll go ahead and also get it that way, but they did that with Dark Knight Returns a few years ago, and with Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman, and that wouldn't watch very well that way at all, but this is one movie. And the animation is wonderful. The sense of, once again, atmosphere is very much on point. And I think the mystery is ultimately kind of more interesting than it even is in the comic, at least on one viewing, because I don't think that quite adds up. And it more or less does in the movie. There's a really nice twist in the middle at the end of the first part that you don't see coming. That's a lot of fun, and it just really takes its time, and it's kind of deliberately paced, and there's a really good sense of suspense throughout. So I'm not picking that just because Halloween is in the title. It's also a good Halloween movie, I think. You're at number 2.
I am at.
Did you put Batman Forever on your list just because it said at Halloween?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. No. Am I gonna be able to guess your last 2?
Maybe.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think you might be able to guess my number 1.
What's your number 2, Jason?
It's Evil Dead 2.
Oh, well, I figured Evil Dead 2 would be on your list, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I'd want to watch that this Halloween, because I just watched it 2 weeks ago for the first time.
Again, you were limited.
Yeah. Well, now, looking at my runners-up, whatever, no, not really. I had just thought of like 7 more. So yeah.
I told you, I thought there were more things that you had in here.
I just thought of another one.
There's a pen. You want to write it down?
Yeah.
He's gonna write it down.
So, Evil Dead 2 is like crazy. Like, I know I said that about Poltergeist, but this is crazy.
How could you call Poltergeist the craziest thing after you just saw Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
What do you like about Evil Dead 2?
I feel like, so going into it, I was like, Raimi, like, he's a fine director. After seeing that, he's a great director, of horror films, and, he's, and also, I saw Doctor Strange 2 before that, and I kind of liked him better as a director after seeing that.
I was going to say, do you think you might end up liking Doctor Strange 2 even more after seeing Evil Dead?
Probably, yeah.
2.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, this is, it's just really fun, and it's not really, I feel like it's a hard movie to review. I don't know because you have reviewed it.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't know. It's just fun to watch, and, most of Raimi's movies, I feel like there's so much to unpack, and, like, right after you watch it, you have to, like, process, like, okay, what happened in this movie? And some of it you just, like, after seeing Doctor Strange 2 in the theater, I was like, so what happened in that movie? I don't remember. And then I saw it again, and I was like, stuff was coming back to me. So, I think I actually do want to see Evil Dead 2 again, because then I can kind of, like, it'll make more sense to me.
Is it because it throws so much crazy
Yeah,
stuff at you, and you're not
just
even...
all at once, and...
Are you maybe not thinking too much about story while you're watching it? It's more being in a moment.
Yeah.
And some of that with Evil Dead 2 is the slapstick of it.
Yeah, and it's so funny, like all the blood going everywhere, and there's a part where, like, I don't know if I understand, like, blood goes out a wall, and then it just turns black, and then goes back through the wall again. I don't even understand.
A lot of it's worth it just for how inventive it is.
Yeah, and I really like, Ash as a character in this, not at all in Army of Darkness. I understand that, after Evil Dead 2, he's just kind of like, he's gone through a bunch, but, he's just kind of, I don't know, I can't swear, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind of good to everyone.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's an a-hole.
Yeah.
What did you find legitimately scary in that movie?
There was a part, I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah,
It's the woman in the cellar, right?
It's the woman in the cellar. That did,
I was racking my brain, too. I thought maybe that was the moment that actually kind of freaked you out.
Yeah.
While we were watching it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and in Army of Darkness, he's got his boomstick.
Yeah.
how are you gonna counterpart this?
I can't. So the closest thing that I had to a counterpart for that would have been Cabin in the Woods, which would have been a decent counterpart, it turns out. But I already did it because not everything lines up. So we're at number 1, right?
No, we're at number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're at number 2. Okay, no, I can sort of get almost close.
You should have saved Psycho to the end, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you slasher.
Yeah.
And Happy Death Day is also a slasher movie, but then you had a horror comedy, so I had to do that. But the closest thing I can get, and this is not the same thing, but there is, this is not even really a comedy, but it's got a lot of practical body horror effects and stuff like Evil Dead 2. I had to put The Fly on the list because I just saw with Jeff Goldblum, and I want to show you that eventually. I think even now maybe you'd be able to handle that movie as gross as it is in parts, just because, yeah, at least this is my experience. You latch on to the characters and the ideas enough. That takes you through some of the gross stuff that might be difficult to watch otherwise. It's not like a Society or something. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. Or even Reanimator. I found this easier to watch than even Reanimator, which is closer to something like an Evil Dead 2 in that it is horror comedy, but I digress. So The Fly, I just did a commentary with Austin on last week, or a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to talk too much about this, but it is now one of my favorite thrillers, horror movies, sci-fi horror, however you want to put it, now of all time, and I realize now why it makes a lot of best lists. I totally misunderstood and misjudged that movie before I saw it. I thought it was like a consummate B movie, and it's not. It's surprisingly more of a studio film. Not that studio is better. I just mean the production values are really there. It has a really grand score. Like 30% of, to me, what really works about that movie is the score, how bombastic that is, and dramatic, and it feels like almost an operatic thing. It's a wonderful tragedy. It's a really good kind of playing God sort of movie. What's interesting about Goldblum in that movie, Jason, is he's playing the exact opposite of Ian Malcolm. He's basically playing a character that Ian Malcolm would hate, and he's who Ian Malcolm is talking about whenever he is complaining about people playing God and messing around with science they don't understand, and that they didn't do enough of, themselves. But yeah, it's a great, transformation, Jekyll Hyde sort of thing. I described it as Jekyll and Hyde meets Frankenstein. It's got a lot of elements of both of those things. And usually when you're a tragic singular character piece in horror, you kind of go in one of those directions, and this one is both. But yeah, I did just see it. I would watch it again on Halloween. I liked it that much. All right, let's go to our number ones.
Number 1.
Well, mine is completely out of order because
Okay.
I'm just matching up with whatever you said. So
Yeah.
this last one wouldn't be my number 1, especially because it's a movie I just watched. But go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, and it probably doesn't match up with this at all.
I doubt it.
Without being the last one. That's the only thing that they have in common. And you would see them on Halloween.
Sure.
Now, would you watch this movie as on Halloween as well? Strangers on a Train.
Strangers on a Train. So I thought that might be on your list, although that's what I wrote down when I said there was a thing that maybe you didn't think of that I need to write down. So I didn't realize it was going to be on your list.
Oh!
So now I don't know what that movie was, but anyway, Strangers on a Train is not like a super, like atmospheric Hitchcock movie. Or I mean, like it's not like a real broody, like puts you in the Halloween mood sort of film necessarily. But so I don't know if I would watch it on Halloween, but it's just really freaking good.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, it's a scary type movie.
Yeah.
And it's a Hitchcock. It's a Hitchcock movie, so I would, I would watch it. And also, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch that on Halloween if I would also watch, like, Rope or Vertigo or something, but I'm going to pick Psycho before any of those. Jason, you've been describing that movie as now your what, second or third favorite film?
Favorite.
All right, tell us why.
It's just a really good dramatic movie that it's about this guy who's kind of crazy and meets this other guy on a train, and this guy has like a really annoying father that he doesn't like, and then this guy that he met on the train has a wife that he wants to break up with. And so he's saying, why don't we swap murders and we kill the other person that we don't really like that much, so that there wouldn't be any evidence. And then this guy's like, sure, and he's kind of joking.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just wants to get out of there, and then he leaves, and then the whole movie is just about this guy trying to kill that other guy's wife.
And he kind of manipulates him.
Yeah. And
sort
he
of strong
tries
arms
to
him, and
get
it's like, well, I'm
him.
killing this person, so you have to, you agreed to this. Well, no, I didn't. Well, yeah, you did.
Yeah. And then he kind of goes along with it, but at the same time doesn't. So, yeah,
It has one of the most exciting third acts I've ever seen in anything.
Yeah. With the
carousel?
The carousel?
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts if it comes out last Thursday.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful
and
film.
that's the other movie that I was talking about, that it does seem very 50s, but it also like could come out like today.
It's wonderfully timeless, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you could see a remake, but like don't remake that.
Don't. It's like The Crow. Don't remake The Crow.
Don't. The Crow would have been a good choice. That's a good Halloween movie. Absolutely.
I have not seen The Crow.
I meant to say this earlier when you were talking about Raimi. I want to show you Darkman soon.
Okay.
Now that you like Raimi's directing, you should probably see his first superhero movie, and that's an original superhero.
Do you want to go through your runner-ups first, or should I?
Let's go back and forth and
Okay.
do some badminton. And
Okay.
we won't spend much time on these because we're already close to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just kind of throw titles at each other, and maybe you can say like a quick reason if you want to. We'll just bat them back and forth.
Yep.
What's
Okay.
another thing you might have said?
Gremlins.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about this movie. I only remember the movie theater scene and the toy store scene.
Because you saw it when you were real little.
Yeah, I saw it like
6-7
years ago, but I do still I remember really liking that, and I would want to see that this Halloween.
You're about the horror comedies.
Yeah, I guess so.
7 is on my list, for kind of the same reason the Batman would be, and that's a movie that I just saw for the first time this last year, and that has a really downer kind of tragic ending. But I didn't do my number 1, did I?
No, you really didn't.
My number 1 was Maggie, which is a zombie movie that I talked about yesterday on that quick, like 23-minute live stream that I did in my car, because I had nothing better to do, so I thought I would chat with folks on YouTube. So I've already talked about this a little bit over there, but Maggie is a movie that just came out last year that is a real understated kind of introspective zombie movie starring Schwarzenegger in the most understated role I've ever seen him play. It feels like a art house movie, and you'd never know if somehow you'd never seen a Schwarzenegger movie that he used to be like a big gruff action star. He's incredible in that, with just how little acting he's doing, and how sad you feel for him. So they're kind of at like the beginning of a zombie apocalypse where the zombies haven't exactly taken over the world yet. Like, infrastructure is still mostly in place, but like we're kind of starting to lose it. And there's this question of at what point does a person stop being a person when they get zombified. And so you have all these people that are slowly losing their loved ones who are becoming zombies but haven't totally turned yet, who aren't wanting to bring them into a quarantine And there's all this talk about the horrible things that happen to people in quarantine, and how little disregard or how little regard there is for life once a person is being turned. And so there's this kind of question of how long do you hold on to your soul, which I thought was really interesting. And so Schwarzenegger is a father whose daughter, Maggie, is going through this, and it's really depressing. Like, I was going to say, watch this on Halloween if you're kind of waxing melancholy that day, because it's, not at all an upbeat movie. And I'm on the fence about the ending, but I think overall it's still a really good film. And Schwarzenegger's character isn't in denial so much as just staving off the inevitable. And wouldn't you also, if you were watching your daughter become a zombie slowly but surely? And the horror aspects of it aren't really about the zombies coming after you. There are a couple of scenes where we deal with people that are fully zombified, but mostly it's almost like body horror again. It's about how awful it would be to become a zombie. So it's much more about the person it's happening to than it is zombies as creatures coming to get you. And so it's a different sort of metaphor at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a cool perspective.
Yeah. I wouldn't show it to you yet. I think it's a little bit too rough, but I liked it a lot. Anyway.
Do you like twins?
Twins?
Yeah.
No. Twins is okay. Twins?
Yeah.
The Schwarzenegger comedy with Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
It's silly. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Robert Wild, $2 super chat. Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I watch every year. I watched that with my mom a lot when I was a kid.
I didn't know that. I knew Mom watched that.
Have you ever seen it?
I think I've seen it once.
Okay, Jason, let's go ahead and finish batting back and forth our runners up.
Yeah, I said Gremlins.
We're already almost at an hour. You said Gremlins. Then I'm gonna... Oh, I said 7, so you go ahead and say another one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say anything about 7, but let's move on. Go ahead.
I said Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park?
I actually, I saw this, I saw that movie once, I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times, but, once I saw this, when I was, 7 or 8, and it actually, freaked me out.
So you have sort of a scary nostalgia for that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I kind of see it as a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely leaning in that direction in, its strategy as an entertainment, certainly. But I wouldn't think of it at all as a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
There's a movie that I was asked to do a request on a few years ago called Creep, which is a sort of found footage-esque movie. It's not really found footage. The whole thing is from the perspective of a guy holding a camera who's a videographer hired by this creepy guy, which is why the movie's called Creep, who asks him to come document his life, and he just does a lot of really disturbing things and is kind of a manipulator, and it's really messed up, but it's really well acted. And then it has a sequel that is not as good, but surprisingly also decent. Go ahead.
Goosebumps.
I mean, that's a Halloween movie, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Halloween movie.
A little lame to watch on Halloween, I would think. But...
Yeah, I saw it a couple times. Don't remember really anything about it, but I would like to see it again.
A couple of my favorite horror movies that came out around the same time, which I'm hoping one of these maybe wins the poll this week for the Friday show for commentary that Austin and I are going to do. But I'll throw out both 28 Days Later and The Ring. 28 Days Later being my favorite zombie movie. And The Ring was legitimately freaky when that came out. And I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm excited to watch it again.
If you do.
Yeah, but maybe I should have put that as my number one, because if we don't get to do the commentary, I'm probably watching it on Halloween this year. Go ahead.
Doctor Strange 2.
Sure.
It's
Some people would fight you as it's not really a horror movie. It's not scary enough, but
yeah, I like it. I already talked a little bit about it, but it's just it's fun. It's scary. It's it turns Wanda into the main antagonist, and I think she fits that role better as a protagonist. So yeah, and
she has some
Raimi's great.
legit creepy things in that, I think.
Yeah.
1 Hour Photo is a movie that will stick with me until the day I die.
It's when this guy takes a photo for an hour.
It's really so. When I was a kid, Jason, you had to go to a 1 hour photo place to develop your film.
Oh.
You wouldn't know about this because they don't have them really as much anymore.
So it's about this guy making a photo for an hour.
No, it's about a guy who runs the photo place.
Oh, that's even more. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
He works at like a box store, like a Walmart type place, and anyway, it's Robin Williams, and he is really creepy and unnerving in that movie. And I don't want to talk too much about it. I would just suggest that people look at that movie. It's really good. Okay, what else?
Yeah. Batman Forever.
Because it's a Halloween movie.
It's a Halloween movie.
How many more things do you have on your list?
One.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I'll do one more, I guess.
Okay.
Since I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
I can't speak to this movie much because I haven't seen it in a really long time, which is why it's on this list, but I want to watch The Cell again. That's another movie that really freaked me out the first time I saw it, and it's wonderfully imaginative. It's about, if memory serves, it's about a technology that lets you link up with another person's mind and go inside their head, and it explores the mind of a serial killer. And it does a really creative dreamscape that I think goes to even more creative places than the recently released Sandman show that does some of that, but I think The Cell actually does some of it better. But I haven't seen it in a long time, so. Yeah. Oh yeah, Insomnia is good too. I haven't seen that in a very long time. That's another Robin Williams horror film. But that's everything you had?
I have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did say you had one more.
This is one that I watched, I think last Halloween, that I don't remember really a lot about, but I remember liking it pretty good. It's a little animated movie called The Batman vs. Dracula.
No, that's a great Halloween movie.
Yeah, I would like to see that this Halloween, or at least in the next, week.
Remember the blood raining from the ceiling and the Joker,
Yeah.
like he's turned into a vampire and he's lapping it up?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That they did that in a kid's movie.
Yeah.
That movie is way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
And I was shocked when I did the rewind on it by how much I liked it, especially because at that time I was kind of not with the Batman as a show, and I've warmed up to it a lot more since then. But
have you done the Batman thing? Like, weren't you watching that for a while? Or was that for no reason at all?
I was watching through it. I was going to go ahead and do a top 10. I never got around to getting that organized, but maybe eventually I'll do that. I've done that with a few shows where I'll just fall off of them, and well, I guess this isn't a project anymore. It's what happens when you have kids and a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Jason, I enjoyed your list.
I enjoyed your list, too.
I think most of yours are things that I would watch on Halloween, and most of mine are things that you've never seen.
We should watch all of mine and none of yours.
Oh, we should watch a couple of mine.
No, let's watch Psycho.
That's probably what we'll do,
Let's
right?
watch Psycho from yours and Terminator from mine.
Ooh, that's a bizarre double feature, but I'd do it.
Yeah.
Sure. The obvious double feature, of course, would be Psycho and Strangers on a Train.
Yeah. I mean, we could do that, too.
You'd probably open with Strangers on a Train.
And then...
Maybe do what that guy suggested, the, daytime one and then the nighttime one.
Yeah. Strangers on a Train would be the daytime one.
Exactly. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed our top 7 movies we'd like to watch on Halloween. This is what the show is now. We're doing lists. This is Jason's idea. I'm really enjoying it, and we'll try to bring another list to you again next week. I was Captain Logan.
And I was Jason.
And we were father
and son.
Later, folks.